Under the Silver Lake is something of an enigma, filled with constant red herrings and meaningless plot points, but at the center of the confusing web of ideas organizing the thematic makeup of the film is the relationship between the audience and the main character Sam, played by Andrew Garfield. The film not only cultivates this relationship, but draws attention to it, using this connection to question how media can and should be engaged with. The first scene of the film, excluding a short introduction to Sam in a coffee shop, is an allusion to Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window, in which Sam spies on his topless neighbor, played by Wendy Van Den Heuvel, with a pair of binoculars. The comparison between Sam and James Stewart's character L.B. Jeffries is not one-to-one, as Sam is not an immobilized spectator. In Rear Window, Jeffries is immediately equated with the audience because they, like Jeffries, have no way of interacting with the story, as the screen, like Jeffries' window, separates them from the events of the plot. Sam, on the other hand, has agency and is not limited to his back porch. So another exchange follows, which allows the film to establish an equivalency between Sam and the audience. This scene is a sexual encounter between Sam and a woman only credited as actress, but played by Riki Lindhome. Now we as the viewer are the sexual voyeurs, peering in on Sam in the same way that he just looked upon his neighbor. This connects the audience's experience to Sam's, but more importantly, this establishes that our experiences as film viewers are what is connected to Sam as he goes through the story. Because the idea of voyeurism, which Hitchcock developed in Rear Window, is used as Sam is introduced, the connection between him and the audience is one which is negotiated strictly along the terms of viewership. Sometime later in the film, after the story has begun to unfold, there is another exchange between Sam and the actress where Sam comments, maybe there is something meaningful in that pattern, regarding a strange sequence of glances he has noticed Vanna White making during Wheel of Fortune. Investigating this pattern has led him to the belief that there are secret messages in entertainment that are being conveyed to the powerful, meant only for them and not for us. He further remarks that it is ridiculous to assume that media has just one purpose. Attention here is drawn to how we assign meaning to media, in this case, meaning which is derived from hidden messages. The meaning Sam searches for, however, has an implicit parallel in the experience of the audience, being the search for meaning within the film itself. The actress responds unenthusiastically, however, creating a tension which poses a central thematic question of the film. Should the patterns which form ideas in media be taken seriously and engaged with? The same patterns that create Sam's dogged interest in Wheel of Fortune can grow into themes or emotional resonance, and if the connections that he has made exist only in his mind, then doesn't this kind of meaning exist only in ours? Ultimately, this scene encourages the audience to engage with media as meaningful, at least for the time being, as our shared experience with Sam up to this point leads us to trust in his point of view, even if there are doubts conveyed through the point of view of the actress. The next morning, Sam is shown frustrated with his car being towed before visiting the writer of a comic from which the film gains its title. This meeting is the first major dialogue scene to follow Sam's earlier mention of patterns, and its relationship with that exchange is emphasized by this fact. Before Sam begins to discuss conspiracy theories with the comic writer, there are numerous shots of the strange decor of his living room, which the characters go on to discuss. His walls are adorned with life masks, as he explains, resin castings of famous people's faces. He further remarks how he would like to have a family so that he has somebody to leave these to. The entire exchange regarding these masks is uncomfortable, and this establishes the comic writer as disreputable, at least to the audience. As a result, his subsequent affirmation of Sam's suspicions about media makes these suspicions seem less justified despite the writer's enthusiasm. Andrew Garfield's performance here clearly conveys Sam's reservations with what the writer is telling him, reservations which the audience is made to share, especially as the writer begins to enumerate the dangers of the owl's kiss and his paranoia surrounding this danger. As the writer searches for something within a secret cavity inside of his house, Sam inspects his bedroom, emphasizing the eccentric and strange ornamentation once again. The scene concludes with the writer exhibiting what he was looking for, a space-toned cereal box which he claims is the key to everything I've been searching for my whole life. Sam's doubts peak here, and he leaves disappointed in what he has found. In spite of the emphasis on the writer's implied lack of reputability, the film is careful to portray him as knowledgeable about conspiracies, especially the patterns Sam has been noticing. Diegetically, this exchange sees Sam beginning to doubt the conclusions he had formed about media, and the parallel in audience experience is that we too begin to doubt its meaningfulness. The relationship the previous scene established between conspiratorial and artistic meaning is used here to foster uncertainty in what was previously an affirmative attitude. These two scenes contradict one another, yet they do not cancel each other out. Rather, the opposition gives the question of meaningfulness a sense of unresolved tension going forward, which inspires within the audience the same need for answers Sam has already been experiencing. We've already seen his yearning, but by creating such grating inconsistency, the film leverages its form to create more than just sympathy, truly including the audience in his quest for answers. Through much of the midsection of the film, Sam and the audience are deprived of these answers. while clues such as a potential for a message in pop music or a connection between film stars and a mysterious pirate who is somehow tied to Sarah emerge, there's no sense of conclusion regarding the justification, or lack thereof, for Sam's, and by extension the audience's, application of meaning. Commenting on this is a scene featuring Sam and his bar buddy, played by Topher Grace, talking as they play Mario. The bar buddy offers an explanation for Sam's desire to find meaning, prescribing an entire generation of men obsessed with video games, secret codes, a desire which he attributes to a lack of opportunity for genuine discovery, the implication being that this has led such a generation to ascribe meaning where there is none. Being that the scene occurs where there is a lack of thematic and narrative conclusion, his words, "Where's the mystery that makes everything worthwhile?" accentuate the seeds of uncertainty which were planted by the comic writer's ramblings. This uncertainty is dismissed shortly following this exchange, as plot points emerge which vindicate both Sam and the audience's application of meaning. The pop song, whose importance was just shrugged off by the bar buddy, ultimately leads Sam to a secret underground facility, which features a pipe extending from the ceiling, symbolizing how the secret codes which the bar buddy had implied to be meaningless are a mystery truly worth investigating. A more significant exchange occurs following this revelation, as Sam finds police at the comic writer's house, notifying him of the writer's apparent suicide. After breaking in to investigate, Sam finds evidence in support of not just the agreeable claims the writer made, but video footage in support of the claims which were earlier used to paint him as disreputable. This is a thematic turning point, essentially answering the question asked by the scene in the bathroom. The introduction of the writer was the inception of uncertainty in the connections the film has led us to make, so reintroducing him as the means through which this uncertainty is dissipated allows the film to wholeheartedly assure the audience of the meaning and the connections they have been making, and, at least for the time being, provide a sense of conclusion. The certainty this provides is short-lived, however, as Sam's investigation leads him to the house of a songwriter who coded the message into Turning Teeth. The connection made in the bathroom between the kind of meaning encoded into pop music and artistic meaning has been one the film relied upon to develop its thematic ideas. The death of the comic writer provided the audience with certainty because of this connection, as it allows for the transcription of Sam's investigation onto the experience of viewership. Sam's exchange with the songwriter is not only a twist in the narrative, but an ideological one, reshaping the themes the film seeks to present. The scene opens with Sam's awe at the songwriter's ownership of Kurt Cobain's guitar, a reminder of Sam's connection to Cobain, which was established earlier in the film. The songwriter goes on to tell Sam he has been coding messages into songs for years, that he wrote the music your dad grew up to. The climax of the scene comes when the songwriter reveals that he wrote Smells Like Teen Spirit. This reveal invalidates the parallels the film had been using to develop the idea that meaning can and should be found in art. Sam diegetically finds artistic meaning in the song, and the songwriter has cleaved a gap between that meaning and the meaning which has been encoded into it. The grand conspiracy which the comic writer believed in has turned out to be true, but its connection to the viewer has turned out to be a lie. The songwriter relishes in Sam's disbelief, telling him to just smile, dance, and enjoy the melody. Sam's subsequent murder of the songwriter conveys his rejection of the ideas the songwriter has presented, especially considering his use of Cobain's guitar to commit such a murder, but this is ultimately more of an impulse than a true unwillingness to submit to the songwriter's conclusions. Not until his final moments with Sarah does Sam truly accept what the songwriter has told him. "I may as well make the best of it," she remarks, regarding her condition sealed underground, a sentiment which Sam echoes, gazing wistfully at the Hollywood sign. In finding the ultimate meaning of the patterns he has been connecting, Sam realized that decoding the messages of the wealthy will get him nowhere, and chooses to make the best of life, disregarding these connections. Sam has found the answers he was looking for, and ultimately, it is no more than the strange pleasures of the rich and powerful. There is nothing he can do with this information, however, and he must keep on living somehow, so the film ends with him returning to the mundane life with which he began it. Kurt Cobain may not have written the words he rebelled to, but that fact no longer stops Sam from finding meaning in that rebellion. Maybe the audience is just a generation obsessed with video games and secret codes, but Sam's concluding scenes in the film tell us that even if the media we engage with has no purpose beyond telling the wealthy where their decadent burial chamber is, we can still find our own meaning by engaging with it.